deal with me, and I just didn't want to. Let's try to work that through because you took the time to put me on the contract. The least that I can do is contact your people. So that's basically what the resolution of the dispute is. It takes time for her, and mind you, each one of us has about 600 contracts to deal with. And for this, for somebody not to call the other person to get the information. So let's try to do the face-to-face, calling somebody and said, if I don't like her, but I like you, or you, because you are the one that I make the business with, hey, this amount is incorrect. More likely, you're going to take action and call your person who put the payment in the system, said, hey, let's correct this before it gets a little bigger of an issue. Once that, keep this in mind. If the payments are entered into the system, but the payments are not U.S. primes, and I don't go and confirm me being the sub, or the dispute is not resolved, you're not getting credit for me. Okay? It's like you issuing a check. You put the zip code for Dallas when you meant to send it to Washington. The check is going to come back to you, then you're going to have to resend it to the right zip code, correct? Is that going to be posted to your credit card? No, until the credit card company gets the check, correct? The same way here. Once you get the payment, or me get the payment, me being the sub, and once I confirm it, that's when you get the credit for the amount that you pay me. Once we resolve the discrepancy, you get the credit. You don't get the credit otherwise. You can't report that you pay me millions. It makes no difference. If I did not agree with that, you get no credit. That means that when we close out the contract, you're going to have a shortfall. All right? This is the different platforms that the City of Chicago has available for on the procurement side. Most of the videos of the classes that are taught in this room are all available online, if you don't want to hear my horrible voice, even though you don't get to see my face because it's only the voice. They're already on the YouTube channel. Are there any questions?
Yeah, now that you guys have switched to no papers, like everything is done electronically now, how does the waivers of lien or mechanics liens factor into this system?
How do, since everything is electronic, how do waivers of lien or mechanical liens factor into the system? There's two parts to your question. One is waivers of lien, and the second one is mechanical liens. We don't deal with the mechanical liens, they go to the Department of Law. Normally, those are executed when you go and say, oh, Gabriel is my consultant and I pay him millions. You haven't paid me nothing. So I go to my attorney, say, Gisela, he didn't pay me. She's going to put a lien on you because you got my invoices. And now you're driving a BMW and the whole 9 years, and I can't pay. I send a lien, but that lien doesn't come to us. That goes to the Department of Law. They deal with that so they can issue my payment against the contract that you got. Waivers of lien is for construction contracts only. When that, mind you, waivers of lien are practices for construction projects that you, every time you issue a payment to her, trucking, construction, you give me a check, I sign the waiver. Now, the contract is done. You had all 552 waivers, because this is a 72-year contract. Okay, we're done. So you give me my final payment. then I will sign the final waiver. I will sign that since I am the sub. When the department, whichever the department owner of the contract is, or the project, say, okay, we have made the assessment, we have done the audit, everything is up to par. There is nothing that to be fixed, everything is up to the way we wanted it to be. We're going to send you the final quantities, meaning this is how much we paid out to you. And you said, yeah, that looks fine. Then once that the user department received that from you, it goes to her. It says, now you can close the contract. At that point, she can say to me, well, you the prime, can I get all of your final waivers for all of your subs? That's when you have all for the final payment that you issued. You send them to her, and that's what she uses to close the contract out. You can email them, mind you. When, of course, this is not really accurate, but in here, instead of what it says, you see where it says Milwaukee conversion user, it will say Gabriel Rodriguez 2 at cityofchicago.org, or it will say Gisela Cervantes, so you can click, or you can highlight it, go into your email, and says, I am sending you all of the waivers for this contract. You attach all the PDF, and poof, off we go. And you will get all of your waivers for that contract that you just signed the final quantities for. We're working with the vendor so that we get a place where all of the waivers can be uploaded. But so far, the best way is highlight that user, that will be an email address, create an email, and you send all of that. Yes.
Do you ever have people work with you one-on-one on learning these things because of the fact that they have some unique situations like those waivers or something like that?
It depends on the type of contract. It depends on who is assigned to the contract. We have had primes or subs that they assign person with barely any computer knowledge, so we have to take them by hand. Click here, click here, click here. The system is very user-friendly. It's just how to resolve what we're asking for, what the system is asking for, what is cumbersome, not what the system does. Now, when you log into your system, as soon as you get to your dashboard, this doesn't have the red light, so pardon me. Up on the top, there will be a little blue ribbon that says Tools and Help. If you click on the Tools and Help, it will say Training Videos. They also have training classes. You can click on either one of the two, either the video of the class. If it is a class, it will be online. You register for the class that you want to see. More likely it will be C2 beginner class. And you can be online and you can ask your own questions, and the teacher will give you, and she will present what the correct answer will be. There's already, pardon me. Under that, no, because this is just a presentation. When you log into the system, you put your credentials, you put your password, and you click sign in or log in. The first page that you see, always up on the top, figure that that was not the ribbon where it says contract, blah, blah, blah. It will be a little ribbon over on this corner that says Help and Tools. That's where you click. And it will open a little box, and it will say either classes or videos. The classes you have to sign up for, they are online, and they are with the vendor, C2 or B2G. You sign up for the class that you want, You can chat with them until their brains fall out. With the videos, they're limited to what they are. But those videos kind of walk you through, if you are the prime, how do you respond to the inquiries? If you're a sub, how you reply to the inquiries. But if none of those work for you, that's what we're here for. Yes?
What about second, third, fourth, fifth tier subs? How many is
You see, now his question was second and third tier. You see a sprinkless car wash? The third one, that's a little indented, that's the second tier. That's a 2. That's a second tier. Exactly the same because he has a goal of a WBE. So when you pay me, I am sub-trucking company. Sprinklers is my sub. It's a sub to me. That's what that means. Once you pay me, I turn around and I pay a Sprinkles car wash. So that's how the... Correct. Yes. Yes. The answer to all of them is yes. Because they are all a part of your contract. You will not, when you see them, you will have to bypass them because they are not directly reporting to you. Unless I said, okay, you can just give me my part. But since I am the one that put her services on my bill and I send them to you, the respect that you give me is I'm giving you the money so then I can turn around and as soon as you pay me, because I can't pay her unless you pay me, once I get the payment, I can turn around and immediately put the money into hers and she can go back and verify and confirm. Yes?
Okay, so you have prime contractor up here. Is the prime contractor a diversity minority company, or is a prime contractor a non-target market that's working with the subcontractors that are target market? Yeah. Or SBE.
The question is whether or not the prime could be certified or non-certified. Either or. If I am, well, let's change the roles. Now you are my subs. I am the prime. I am M, W, and D. I'm veteran. I'm in a target market per se. Even if I wasn't in a target market, I can be self-performing as long as, one, my certification letter has some codes on the second page that says, this is what Gabriel can do. If the contract calls for some of those services that I can perform, and since I am qualified, because I am the M, the W, or the D, depending on the goal of the contract, I can self-perform some of my services that the scope of work calls for that match those. Because if I'm a CPA and the contract calls for landscaping, I don't think that I'll be able, well, of course I can trim the bushes, but I'm not going to be able to get credits for it. Now, that doesn't mean that I am not going to have subs that are going to complement my goals of the contract. If it's a target market, the goal of the target market is 51%. If I am the MBE, that will be an MBE target market contract. That means I have 49% if I want to, being the prime, to ask you, or ask you, or ask you, or ask you, did you want, I'm going to need painting, landscaping, trucking, and flooring for this contract. So remember, the goal of the NW program is share the wealth. The more money is spread out with the minorities, with the small business, the best. Or that's the goal of the contract.
Do minorities have to be registered
They do have to be certified with the city of the county.
So, I had a contract with the city, and I was a target market for one of those companies. Then I sold my company to a non-target market, and they terminated my contract. And I sold because of the fact that I could not fulfill the contract because there was lack of supply and demand. And so I sold the company to this non-target market. I lost the contract with the city. I am trying to get the new company, which is a nationwide company that was bought. It's a non-target market company. Although our subcontractors, 95% of them are women and minorities. And so I want to, when the contract expires October 31st, I want to bring the new company in and stuff. And so will that company be dealing with this?
Yes.
Okay. And then I will have to put in every one of the subcontractors.
We put them in. We drive the system. This, even though it's not our platform, but we are the administrators and we're the data owners. We set up the contract, we add the vendors, depending on what you agreed to and what you were approved to have on the contract, which vendors you were approved to have through the compliance plan approval. Once everything is approved and you are awarded the contract, a contract is going to be created in the C2 system that is going to list the amount of the award that you got, which one of your subs, MWs, Ds, and the amount that they are supposed to be participating for. Then we give it to you and said, hey, now you start running with it. Every time you get paid, you go and report their payments, and that's how we track that you are doing what you're supposed to be doing. Money-wise, we don't check your performance because that's the user department responsibility. That would be correct.
So my problem is that, 95% of these are subcontractors are on the corporate employees. So these are women and minorities, but none of them, I think, probably 98% of them have not gotten registered or certified as SPEs or any.
SBEs are not certified. They're not certified as SBEs. They have to be either M or W, depending on the goal of the contract. It is determined whether or not you meet the goals to be an SBE. That's not an assessment that is done lightly. The contract, the only goals that are on the contract are M, Ws, or Ds. If the type of contract is SBI or MBI, mid-size, or a small business, but that is something that the certification unit does. But that means that everybody that comes to play, as long as they have a letter of certification, one, they have gone through the certification process. Two, that what they are going to be performing is in accordance and it relates directly and only directly to the area of specialty as it is stated on that certification letter. You could be the prime. You do not need to be certified to be the prime and to bid on a project. Let that make that clear. Certified and non-certified, we all combined can bid on the same project. Yes. Correct. No, Schedule Bs and Schedule Cs and Schedule Ds. That they intend to do? Correct. Now, correct. A current certification. that they are going to, that what they said on the Schedule C that they're going to do matches what the certification calls them for. Target market,
You can't always and automatically assume because someone is a minority or a woman that they are a certified minority or woman.
mind you, keep this in mind. The only certification that are accepted at the city and the county, Metro, CTA, or the state. Membership to different entities as the Woman Business Enterprise, those are not certifications and those are not accepted. Now, if you are speaking of a target market, you only need one firm to be certified M or W. Then you can fulfill. You don't have to, because by being majority, you fulfill the goal of the contract, whichever that one you are. If you are an M, you fulfill your 51%. But since you're such a nice person with a big heart, you bring all other 49% to the rest of your friends that do qualify to help you with the goal of the contract. Yes, you do. Because you are the prime. They work for you. Because okay, I believe this is something that we can speak of. Are there any other questions related to this? I encourage you to please fill out your surveys. Thank you all for coming.